Bang! Neeves Knives, I'm Jared, and here we have the RR Station, which is named after the designer's father's love for trains and model trains and things like that. And I think it looks amazing. I think it is a great looking design, and I like that it's unique, it's different, and yeah, and it's very well done. So we will take a quick look at the specs. You can see the manufacturer is Bestech. And you can pause if you want to read this. Yes, it is VANAX super clean steel. He treated a 60 to 61 HRC. Love to see that. T8 hardware all the way around. Now, we'll go over some of the changes that are going to be done, or the slight changes, I should say. This pre-order is open right now, and they already are in production. Now, if you want to get one, it'll be $350 if you pre-order it. If you wait till afterwards, it'll be like $375. So you get a little bit of a price price drop if you do join the pre-order. Like I said, it's already in production though. So let's talk about it. One, VANAX Super Clean. Love to see that. I love this sheep's foot style blade, almost a straight razor style blade with a nice deep hollow grind, beautiful belt satin. There is going to be a couple different versions, including a DLC version, which sounds amazing. I think it's going to be a satin with DLC over the top. Anyways, so VANAX, if you guys don't know about VANAX, it's arguably the best steel you could get on a knife. And I say that because, one, it holds a really, really good edge. Two, it takes a really good edge. Three, it is almost impervious to elements. So meaning like it basically has the highest amount of corrosion resistance you could ever ask for in a blade, while it's still being steel. So you're basically never going to have to worry about rusting it. So, and yeah, it's just a solid steel. Now, it is quite expensive of a steel, considering, other steels, right? It's more, a little bit harder to get. So it's amazing that they're going to be using it on this. So that's great. So where this thing is going to shine is through utility cuts. It's going to be a utility cutting beast. You can kind of tell just from the blade shape, but all the leverage that you put into the knife is going to end up at the tip of the knife, which makes for very easy utility cutting leverage and just, cutting performance. So as far as opening things up, utility cuts, any sort of controlled cut with the tip, it's going to be amazing on this knife. The handle is a titanium bolster lock with this lava flow fat carbon fiber, which looks beautiful. Love the pivot, how it's a square pivot with the R&R. Titanium milled pocket clip. It must be in set because there's no movement, which is really good. A couple standoffs back there. Let's talk about this action. So you can see you have this fuller running down the whole blade. You can easily flick it from any spot on the blade, which is nice. It does. There is a little bit of a problem with it, which we'll go over later, but the thumb studs also work really good. Now, he is going to raise the thumb studs up a little bit, or not up, out. The thumb studs will be extended out a little bit, so they're going to be a little bit bigger thumb studs, which is good because you can see they are lower than the scales, so you do have to kind of get down there. Now, they work great, so I'm not going to complain about the thumb studs. I do have one little thing I will talk about later on when we get to nitpicks. The jimping on the front flipper is really good. Great jimping, great style of jimping. However, I think it does need to go up higher and up and around. Now, he said that one of the changes, aside from the thumb studs being pushed, brought out a little bit more, or bigger thumb studs, they're also going to add another jimping here. I would say add like 2 jimpings, maybe even 3, but get it all the way up and around, because when you put your finger here, your finger kind of goes around the corner when you do it, and it'll just be easier. Don't get me wrong, the front flipper works great, just the way it is, but that is something that would improve it even more, and you wouldn't have to worry about slipping off of it. Because the jimping is great jimping. It just needs 1, 2, 3 more jimpings. I think 2 would be perfect. And 1 on the top, and then 1 right over the corner. Next, like we said, the fuller, great action. Access to the lock bar. Now, it's not knocked back very far, but it is super comfortable. So you can see it is slightly more proud on the lock side than the show side. And they put a nice chamfer there. It is nice, strong lockup too, by the way. Very, very solid. But it's a very comfortable disengagement. So yeah, it feels really good. Very easy to get past the detent. Extremely smooth on the drop. Yeah, that's a comfortable disengagement. It really makes a knife feel nice and premium when you have that feeling. Right there is the detent ball, by the way, but you can easily get past it. Nice thick blade stock, robust blade, but a nice thin grind because it has that hollow. Then the neutral ergos. The ergos are very neutral. Doesn't matter what direction you're holding it in, it will be comfortable. It's a little squared, but not in a bad way. Super duper comfortable. You can slice with it. You can get up nice and tight to the edge if you want to. If you need to do pinch grips for utility cuts, if you need to cut straps, doesn't matter. It's going to work great. So fantastic ergos, and I like how the blade and the handle complement each other very, very well. So that's awesome. And what I mean is that the geometry, ergos, and handle all are really good. They work together really good. Now, so all in all, I love it. I think it's great, but I do have some nitpicks. So let's talk about my nitpicks. One, you see the front flipper kind of drops down right here a little bit. I wish it went either straight across or possibly went up just slightly higher. Now, I know he's trying to keep the aesthetics of the train, so I get it. But the drop down makes it to where you hit the jipping is lower than the scale. So, it would just be better if it was slightly higher or if it went straight across to where you had just a little bit of height on top of the scales. Is it that big of a deal? No, but it would be better, right? It'd be better. Next thing is the thumb studs. We said that the thumb studs are going to be extended a little bit, but another thing that would be good is if this chamfer right here on the titanium was chamfered back a little bit farther. As an example, right here. This is the QUALIY 9, but you see how there's like a ramp basically to go down to the thumb studs. It makes it super duper comfortable to get right to the thumb studs and deploy it out. Now, these, even with them being small, they work good. If that chamfer was there, I wouldn't even say you'd have to extend the thumb studs, but extending the thumb studs will work good. Also, adding a little chamfer there to basically a ramp to get down to the thumb stud also would be better. Next thing, sharpening tool and plunge grind. You guys already knew this was coming. I am not a fan of this plunge grind. It is very close. You can see where it starts. So plunge grind starts here, ends right here. You have about one sharpening away from hitting the plunge grind. If not, if I sharpened it right now and I lowered back the edge angle like I would probably hit the plunge grind first sharpening. And this is what it would look like. Here is a plunge grind that's hit right here, creating a smile. Now, another thing that's probably going to be hard for you to see how ugly that looks back there? It looks like an old knife, just because the plunge grind is so close to the edge. Next is if you look, you can barely see it, but I haven't even hit the apex completely because it's thicker here. So sharpening this takes so much longer than sharpening literally right here. So it just makes it more difficult to even hit the apex in the plunge grind area. So in order to not have that, I would say make a plunge grind like this. Here is a good example of one that could be just like this. It could be repeated the exact same. So you have the plunge grind that starts here and it drops down rapidly, right? So you can see the plunge grind is not very big, but it's not about where it begins. It's about where the plunge grind ends. And see how you have all of this life to sharpen off before you'll ever hit it? Something like that would look amazing and work great. Another quick example, really quick, would be something, this one's a little bit more dramatic, but it's going to prove my point just a little bit more. So you can see the plunge grind where it starts, you can see where it ends. Now from the sharpening, when I start removing steel from sharpening, I'm going to be able to remove all of this steel before I ever hit the plunge grind. It's not going to be one sharpening in, because basically like this would be as if this one started here and instead of ending right here, it ended right here. That would be an example of this plunge grind being on this knife. So you see the difference? Now, that's something that can probably easily be done because this is internal stop pins. So not only could they extend the front flipper up a little bit or straighten it out, but they could also add a beautiful plunge grind and sharpening choil or plunge grind. Just do the plunge grind right and you'll be great. And you have all the room in the world because it is an internal stop pin, so you don't have no stopping back here, up here. It's internal. So, and like I said, very strong lockup. So the last nitpick is this fuller is going to create resistance going through stuff. It's just the nature of the beast. It's a beautiful fuller. It's going to work great for deployments. But as far as passing through things and pushing it through stuff, cardboard or whatever will bind up there. If it's food will get caught in there. But I would mostly be worried about going through dense things like cardboard. It's going to catch there, and this will create resistance and friction going through stuff. But it's just the nature of the beast. If you want a fuller like this, nice and sharp, because it works so good for the deployment because it's so nice and sharp. See that angle right there? It is nice and sharp. So because it's nice and sharp, makes it to where it's going to be sharp also going through stuff and catching on stuff. But this isn't really your cardboard destroyer type of knife, and it's not going to be with that fuller. So, it's just going to be your basic EDC knife. Pull it out of your pocket, make your cut, break something down, slice something up, cut a rope, cut a strap, get it back in the pocket. That's the type of knife it is. Because as far as like breaking down cardboard for hours, you'll most likely grab a different knife, right? Especially with the fuller the way it is. It's just not that type of knife. But all in all, I like it a lot. Not only do I like the design, I love the way it looks. I love the action. I love the ergos. I love, just about everything about it. Obviously I have my nitpicks, but I understand that those things have the opportunity to be changed because this is a prototype. I love that they're using VANAX. I love VANAX steel. It's an incredible, incredible steel. So yeah. Like I said, I will link everything down in the description. The pre-order has already started and they already are in production. So there you guys go. I love you guys. Thank you guys for watching. Peace.